Hey everybody, welcome to the first foundational Excel video. This is called the many faces of the mouse. What I want to show you, it's a very short video, is where you put your mouse, different things happen based on where it happens to be. For example, if you see my mouse right now, it looks like a pointer. That's doing nothing. But if I click here or here or here, I call that the big fat happy red cross plus, even though it's white. This, when it's a big fat plus, means select. If I click and drag, I'm selecting. And I'll show you a little trick here. If I highlight that and then hold my control key down and click and drag, when it's the big fat plus, I can highlight two non-contiguous ranges. Whenever your mouse looks like the big fat happy red cross plus, all you're doing is selecting a cell or cells. Now here, if I click on the two and I put my mouse on an edge, not a corner, I'll talk about corners in a second. On the edge, I get the four-headed arrow. This means move. That's how you move something, is you get the four-headed arrow on an edge. See? Now, the corner. If I put my mouse in this little corner here, it turns into a very thin plus. That's called the autofill handle. But everything in Excel is called auto something or other, so I call that the pimple. You can always tell someone who took my class because they go, oh yeah, pull the pimple. That's how you know. But what does this little thin plus do? I'm going to click and drag it down. Ta-da! It's a copy function. That's all it's doing is it's copying. I'm going to do an undo just to get rid of that. Let me move this out of the way. Remember, I want to get the thin plus that has four arrows to move. So let's get that out of the way. Now I'm going to grab the thin plus on the corner. I'm trying to drag it diagonally. You cannot drag it diagonally. I can drag it across and then grab it again and drag it down. That would have been the same thing, but you cannot go diagonally when you're on the pimple. Let's do an undo here. So as I told you, the pimple is a copy function. That's all it's doing is it's copying. Now I'll show you a little thing here. I have the word Monday. I grab the pimple and I pull it across in this case. You notice what it did? That's because it sees the word Monday as a special word. It says, oh, okay, I guess you mean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I put mon here and I click on it and grab the pimple, you can see it says, oh, okay, I recognize mon. Now, if I do Jan, what's going to happen with Jan? Grab the pimple. It's the months. Now, if you were doing a list of people's names and the first person's name is Jan, I doubt the next person's name is Feb. It might be Ted, but not Feb. So sometimes you have to go back and fix it. So remember, the big plus means select. The thin four-headed arrow means move. The thin plus, the thin black plus means copy. It's a copy. That's all it's doing. It's a copy function. Now, there's two other main things the mouse could be. If I double click by accident, no, not accident, I meant to do it. You get the blinking cursor. You're in edit mode now. I can edit it here. And if I click off of it, it changes right there. I can also change it up here. Oops, I made a mistake. I want it to be all twos. I hit enter there. So if you double click here, that's the same thing as working up here. It does the exact same thing. Now, the last one I want to show you, see how Wednesday doesn't quite fit? If I put my mouse between the D and the E, not here, because it turns into the big fat plus, but if I put it here between the D and the E, it's a pointy arrow, or I cut the thorny arrow. It's got it's a plus, but it's got two thorny points at the end. If I click and drag, that's how you change the width or the height. If you go over here, you could change the height. But I'll show you a little trick here. Let's move this really short. See, I can't see it. If I put my mouse between the D and E and double click, it's called auto fit. See, everything's called auto something. That makes it as big as it needs to be. So this, the big fat plus, big fat happy red cross plus means highlight. The thin plus, which has arrows at the end, the four-headed arrow means move. Getting the thin plus here without the arrows means copy in one direction or the other. And remember, it does special copies too if it recognizes the word. Like, for example, if I do week 1 and I click on it and pull the pimple across, it says, oh, you must be in week 2 and 3 also. So it picks up on those sort of things. So, by the way, I'll show you one more little trick and then we're done. Let's say you wanted to make a calendar and today was the 1st and next Monday is the 8th. If you highlight both of these, now remember, when I highlighted the 2s and grabbed the pimple, it just copied 2 straight down. If I highlight 2 of these and grab the pimple down, see what it does? Well, we don't have a 36th, But what it did is said, oh, because you have 2 of them and they're off by 7, I'm just going to keep adding 7. So that's a quick way to do things like making a calendar. So there you go. Those are the many faces of the mouse. If you have any questions, you got my cell number. Give me a call.